All right, hello everyone. My name is Charles Boyle and I am the founder of Glider Electric Scooters. Today, I hope to share with you the potential of this company and what Glider is all about. Glider focuses on the problem of daily hassles people experience in Iowa City due to parking, inconvenient bus routes, or long walks. As I will explain later, these three problems have often been mentioned in my customer discovery process, parking being the number one issue. The solution that Glider offers are affordable, eco-friendly, and convenient electric scooters, along with a user-friendly application to eliminate the hassles of existing transportation methods in Iowa City. So as for now, my main objectives are to firstly keep connecting with potential customers. I'm gaining valuable insight as of now, but still need to reach a wider, more diverse population. I'm also working on a wireframe for my company website. There is still much work to do before something like this can be fully implemented, but my objective is to have a basic site up and running soon. Important key partners for me are the wholesalers that I need to purchase scooters from. Some of these scooter names would come from companies such as GoTrax, Unagi, and Jetson Scooters. Another key partner, and a simple one, is a storage company to keep the scooters. And finally, other businesses in Iowa City that could potentially help promote and advertise Glider. As for my target markets, the four main customer segments that I have are UIowa students, student athletes, residents who are non-students, and visitors to Iowa City. I'm also breaking these segments down into their demographics, such as age, location, job status, etc. My strategies so far are very straightforward. I'm continuing my interview process daily, and as for a website, I hope to use my wireframe with a web developer soon to start up a basic site. And finally, visiting or contacting key partners is an up and coming assignment of mine. My customer discovery has consisted of 37 interviews so far from both student and regular Iowa City residents alike. The findings that I have align with my hypothesis that there is indeed frustration with moving around Iowa City and that there is an opportunity at hand for a company like Glider to seize. The people that I interviewed were all between the ages of 20 to 30, and most were located on the east side of campus, especially non-students who were all east side residents. That group also consisted of mostly males of having part-time jobs in Iowa City area. Although there is much improvement needed for the variety of demographics in my customers, the findings still point to the fact that there is a strong interest for a service of this kind, specifically 31 of the 37 being interested, and also a majority viewing parking as a concern. Safety is an important issue for this company. It is an aspect that could result in many liabilities. When asked about safety as a concern regarding helmets or protective gear, only 10 of the 37 said they were, 16 were not, and 9 had somewhat of a concern. I have yet to see a dramatic shift in these answers, but they all tie into whether helmets and other protective gear should be mandatory. Other important takeaways that I found was that style, at least for the vast majority, does not seem to be too important when riding an electric scooter. As long as you get from point A to point B quickly and conveniently, the customer is satisfied. And finally, when asked about these scooters and where they should be, the Pentecrest and downtown commercial areas were the favorites. As for my competitive analysis, there are many competitors in Iowa City that I face. The first being mopeds. The pros of mopeds is that they are less pricier than a car to get you to your destination faster than a scooter can. However, the scooter has other advantages. Mopeds are treated like any other vehicle on the road, and that means they must be parked in either a scooter spot, which requires a permit, or a car spot, which requires a payment. The university scooters offered here also cost around $2,000 to $2,500. The CAN bus has around 20 routes, but none of them go deep into any neighborhood areas, making them only useful for university area transportation. The CAN bus, however, is free. The city bus is the opposite. The routes stretch far into the neighborhood area, but they operate by a cost of $1 for an adult or 75 cents for youth, with plans that vary from $8.50 to $100. The city bus, while it may seem useful and inexpensive for students, has only been used by one of the 37 customers in my discovery. As for the big scooter companies like Bird and Lime, they are not located in Iowa City. However, that could always change. The features of Bird and Lime are for the most part what Glider would operate by. GPS systems are built into each scooter, as well as QR codes for your phone application. Their applications allow you to view history of rides, process payments and promotions, as well as having the ability to send feedback to the company. The rates of Bird and Lime are practically the same, besides the slight changes in different cities, with a $1 base fare and 15 cents per minute cost. If one were to use a Bird or Lime scooter and travel 4 miles at 10 miles per hour, it would take around 24 minutes, which comes out to $3.60, with a rate of $1 for base, making it $4.60. That is less than the minimum Uber fare in most cities. And if Glider was operating by similar rates, residents could save money in Iowa City by switching from Uber. Both Bird and Lime have also offered subscription plans in some cities. Lime offering a $4.99 per week, which replaces their base fare. And Bird launched a $24.99 monthly plan with a Bird scooter delivered to your door. However, this has downsides given that the scooter was a worse version of their original that moves slower and has less battery life. And Bird also sells their scooters for up to $1,300. This business will require investment funds for the original cost of scooters, advertising, storage, and running a website. As stated before, storage companies and other businesses in Iowa City will be important in the early stages of this company, but the bank and other investors are even more crucial. Purchasing scooters will be the biggest cost to start, but maintenance will also add to my expenses, so repair services are needed as well. My key resources will consist of many permits and legal documents, and so for Iowa City does not have any ordinances against electric scooters, as long as they are operated with caution, ridden from sunrise to sunset, and use a light at night visible from 300 feet. My other key resources are obviously my electric scooters and also all the data that I gather and the employees that will work for Glider. I plan to have my customer relationships focused with great customer service, which would be an easy feedback system for customers through the application. Advertising and social media are critical aspects as well, and I hope to implement a reward system specifically through the use of tokens for customers. My main costs include acquisition of customers, which would be through either marketing or promotional costs, and purchasing of electric scooters, while also paying for phone application costs to keep it up and running. And my revenue stream as of now consists only of the fees from rides and subscription plans. I'm still working on gathering as much information as possible about customers, and I'm trying to reach all different types of people. My website is a work in progress, but I hope to get that moving quicker. And as for now, just spreading the word is a great start for what you guys can do. And if anyone you know is interested in answering questions about a company like this, that would be great for them to get in contact with me. But that is it. Thank you very much for your time and listening. And there's my contact information again. And I'm open for any questions.
Hi. I got the impression that you would be leasing these. Is that the case?
Yeah, I thought about that. And as of now, I've been only focusing on purchasing them. I just feel that if I was to have them permanently, I wouldn't have to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What I meant is leasing them to your customers.
Oh, yes, yeah, they would just be mostly through just fees for like like a daily rental. But I like you were saying, like the Bird uses like leases where you can have them for a month. But I haven't focused on that right now. Mine was mostly just towards a daily use, or maybe a subscription plan for a week.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, thanks. Interesting stuff. As a non-scooter rider, what kind of liability are you dealing with, and have you worked out how long it takes to turn a profit off of one scooter? How many rides or how many minutes?
Yeah, I'm still working on the all the calculations for the profit, but my main liability that I have been thinking about is that Iowa City is a college town, and drinking is a big problem here that would not really be compatible with this. So that's something that I need to keep in mind, and how there should be restrictions to that. And just when you sign up for this, there has to be an agreement. But yeah, I would say the drinking right now is probably my number one concern. And also just scooters being left around the campus. That's been complaints in other cities that have systems like this. And that's something that I really want to differentiate myself by having those picked up routinely.
So Charles, this is Greg Barkas. So you mentioned that one of your competitors are the city buses that go deep into the neighborhoods. Do you really want to have your scooters go deep into the neighborhoods 4 to 5 miles away? I mean, it seems like that would really increase your retrieval cost, and could take all the profit out of that particular ride.
Yeah, when I was mentioning that, I was just contrasting it with the CAN bus and how they are pretty much the opposite. But that doesn't mean that I necessarily have to do that. I think that I would still have them go at least somewhat into the neighborhood. It doesn't necessarily have to stretch all the way back to the far east side or west sides. But yeah, like I said, I was just contrasting that with the CAN bus. And I think it's important to at least have some kind of neighborhood access. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Charles, this is Eric Weidel. Nice presentation and an interesting project. What do you know about how companies like Lime and Bird collect scooters in other towns where they're at? Have you looked into that?
Yeah, so far they don't have any retrieval process, at least that I haven't found. They do have complaints about that. There's just been reviews that I've been reading about how they are left around town, and people can trip over them, or they're just left in the middle of a sidewalk. And yeah, I wanted to be differentiating myself by having that within my system, where there would be employees that would go around and pick them up. But so far, they just kind of let them sit around on their campus. And actually, the campus that I was pretty inspired by this was at the University of Missouri. They had Bird scooters, and that was a very big complaint there about how they were being left around. So I don't think that any city that they do has a retrieval service, at least that I haven't found.
So Charles, this is Greg again. So if you're making money off of your assets, which are your scooters out there, you've got to make certain somehow within your operating parameters or something, you got to make certain that those assets are in service as much as possible. So I think Eric's question is a real good point, that if your scooters are sitting someplace, they're not making you money, but you're still having to pay the cost of those. So, just a thought that you really need to think about how you are going to keep those scooters in service and available to all customers. Just a thought.
Yeah. So are you saying like that if they're just sitting there, they'll still be operating and using up energy? Because
No, they're not generating any income. And
Okay.
and I think that, you know, some of the cities that have Lime or Bird, they are fairly compact, or they have their service territory has demographics that are going to use those often because they either don't have cars aren't ubiquitous or something like that. So you're going to need to devise a strategy kind of based on your Iowa City and specifically your campus that again just will allow you to keep those scooters in service. If they're not in service, they're not making you money.
yeah, you're right. I that's what I want to do is to have them flow back to the stations that would be across campus. That's ultimately the goal. But yeah, that's right. I don't want them just to be sitting around because that would be just a kind of a waste.
Have you looked at all at the business model for Zipcar? They're in Iowa City, and of course they're automobiles rather than scooters, so they would be direct competitors. But I belong to that, and they have pretty tight stipulations about having to return the car to the specific spot, and they own the parking spots, and they slap fines on people who don't get them back on time or don't leave their tanks with at least a quarter of a tank of gas. And you know, I've liked Zipcar. I've used it for several years, and I know that's not for tooting around campus, but they might have some things in operation to look at.
I have not done. That's a good point. I have not done as much research about them as I have with Bird. But what you brought up is a good point about how if you don't bring them back with the right amount of fuel, or if they're out for too long, there could be a penalty. And that's actually what Bird does. If the scooter's left more than 24 hours without being returned. This is for like their rentals, not just for the ones that you use daily. But there is a penalty, and they could report it as lost or stolen. But yeah, that's like kind of a system I want to operate by too. But I do need to do more research about Zipcar.
Yeah, they're worth looking at, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's also bike rental services that are around in some cities. So I agree, Zipcars might be someone to look at, but look at, I mean, you're kind of really in the wheelhouse of those bike rental services too. So
Yep.
just a thought.
Yeah, so far I haven't heard of anyone using any. I think actually I did only have a couple using just their regular bike. But yeah, I will look into bike rentals as well because that's important.
Des Moines has that service where they have a station where people go to and they have to either bring them back. So I'll get the name of those so that you can, I don't know the name of that particular service, but I think it's worth looking at.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Greg,
Charles?
I was going to say,
Charles? Oh, go ahead.
Greg, just to piggyback off of what Greg was saying, have you talked to Cedar Rapids? Because they have, I know they have scooters and bikes.
Yeah.
And see how that's been working up there. Because if you're looking for similar situations, Cedar Rapids might be as close to Iowa City as you're going to get with that kind of system.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I have not talked to anyone in Cedar Rapids, but they do have electric scooters in there.
They
Okay.
started, what, 1 or 2 years ago, Jay?
Yeah, it was either last year or the year before. It was somewhere in there. It's relatively recent.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really looking for comparison apples to apples, look at similar sized like cities with campuses right? If you're concerned about student and non-student traffic, there's got to be market information out. The scooters have been out for a number of years. I don't know if Ann Arbor or whatever, but really investigate your competition and see what the traffic flow and what challenges that they've hit. Could you show us? Do you have a slide on like your value proposition?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
So yeah, I was working with Paul, my coach, and just kind of combining the previous value propositions that I was using.
Okay. So, right, I think there's a way we can make this a little bit more concise going forward. And then I know that Greg and I are going to have some more comments, like we usually do for teams outside of 1 million cups that we'd like to talk with the teams about. But yeah, thank you for sharing your updates with us, Charles.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for your time listening. All right.
Yeah, it looks like from the comments we were talking about what they're doing over in Des Moines. B Cycle is the name of the docked bikes over there.
Okay, B Cycle.
I know they service Denver as well.
Oh,
A
interesting.
little bit larger.
Yeah, definitely.
I know Chicago's got a docked bike program too. I don't know if that's through B Cycle. It may be some other company as well.
And like the DC metro area has all of the bikes competing, and they're all over the place, littered, not charged,
Yeah.
and they have taxis and they have Uber. I mean, it's a very different dynamic there, but you see everything in the Washington D.C. area.
Yeah, Denver's kind of the same way. They've got all the scooter companies. They've got electric bikes. They've got docked bikes, undocked bikes.
Yeah.
Definitely worth investigating. We've got time for about one more question, and then I'll ask my final question.
There's a question in the chat. It says, would you be looking into something like an app where you could see the locations of scooters nearby? There's more to it than that, but it's from Gabrielle Aranza.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That is what Bird and Lime operate off of, and that's really exactly what I want to do. Just think of it similar to like how Uber is, where it's a virtual map that uses GPS to locate where not only you are, but where every scooter is and the stations are in Iowa City. But yeah, that's what I hope to be implemented.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, if you do that, make sure you're able to indicate how much energy is remaining on those bikes. Because we used something like that in DC, and every single bike we went up to had no power.
Okay.
So that was a major hassle. We never actually used a scooter because it was just such a hassle. We gave up on it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Cool. We're having a great conversation, but for time's sake, I'm going to have to ask the final question now. What can we as a community do to help you?
Yeah, like I was just saying before, just as of now, if there's anyone that you know that could provide good insight to questions like these, or just spreading awareness, to have people get in contact with me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for right now.
All right. How do we get in contact with you? Do you have that?
Oh, yeah, yes. There we go.
There you go. All right, everyone, get a picture of that, either screenshot it or get it in your mind here. And I want to thank you, Charles, for your presentation today.